Okay, we are in Parshat Netzavim. Netzavim is always, I believe, is always read right before Rosh Hashanah, and the key words in this parsha are the very beginning. You are all standing here today. Lifnei Hashem Elokeichem, before Hashem your God. Rashechem, Shiftechem, your heads of your tribes. Ziknechem, Shotrechem, your elders and your your officers. Then call Ish Israel, every man of Israel. But so what happens is, if you look at Rashi says what's going on. When it says 10 minutes of him, you are standing here. So it teaches that Moshe assembled everybody before Hashem on the day that he died to enter into the covenant. In other words, once again accept the Torah. They're saying we're going to follow the Torah. Okay. Then it says Rashechem Shiftechem. So Rashi says what does it mean? Heads of your tribes means heads for your tribes. And then why does it say Ziknechem Shotrechem? Your elders and your officers. Hechashuv Chashuv. The more important ones first, and then after it's called Yisrael. Okay? And it continues on. Just grab a chumash. Then it says, Tapchem, Neshechem, your children and your wives, V'gircha, and your stranger, Shebeker Machanecha, that is in the midst of your camps, Mechote Veitzecha, Atzoe V'mercha, from the water, from the ewers of wood, until the drawers of water. We're on page 1086. And so Rashi continues to say, Mechotze V'tzecha, who are the water, who are the wood ewers? So to teach us that the Canaanites came because they wanted to convert in the days of Moshe, just like the Gevonim will do in the days of Joshua. And that's why it says over there, the Gevonim, that they also did an act of deceit. And so Moshe makes them. Moshe wasn't deceived; he knew what was going on. So he right away makes them into the ewers of wood and the water drawers. Okay. So then what happens? So he has all of these people all assembled together on the day of his death. And why did he do that? So the pasuk says, "Laman hakim odcha hayom lo la'am." In order to establish you today to be a nation, I'm sorry, I missed you off. So he did this to cause you to pass into the covenant of Hashem your God, and to the curses. Asher Hashem Elokecha, that Hashem your God create him chahayom, that is writing or is cutting with you today. So that's the main reason that he brings them in, to have them there. And he says, let's just say that. Now, what's going on here? And then Yud Beit. Just want to run a little here. Laman hakim odcha, in order that I've established for you hayom lo le'am, that will be for you a nation today. For you lecha lekim, and he will be for you a God. Kashi diber lach, as he spoke to you. Like he swore to your fathers, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And not only with you, I am making this covenant with this covenant. In this curse, not all those that are with you today, or they're sitting here today, before Hashem your God, and those who aren't here today. Well, who's not there today? Everybody's standing there, right? Sorry?
The unborn.
The unborn. So that's what Rashi's saying. Rashi says, when it says, even the future generations that are going to be. In other words, you, me, our children, they were all brought into this covenant. It's an amazing thing. How can I be brought into an agreement when I'm not even there? Is that fair? That's a fascinating question to ask.
It's inherited, apparently.
Inherited. So I get an inheritance. But again, I'm jumping into I'm making an agreement that my children are going to, and my children's children and so on and so forth, have to accept, and they did accept.
It seems like a very strong impression of the unity of Klal Yisrael from now on and forever, from this point on.
Correct. It does seem that way. And what we also, another fascinating, the midrash that came out of, I'm not sure if this was based upon this verse, but an fascinating midrash actually, that Hashem wanted to give the Torah, right? So Moshe says, okay, so give the Torah for this. And Hashem says, no, it's not a good guarantor. I need a guarantor. She said, you have the rabbis, they're not a good guarantor. Forget the rabbis. Okay. You have this group, that group. He finally says the children. Hashem says, done. The children are a good guarantor. I like the children are good. So only in the merit of the children did we receive the Torah at Har Sinai, at Mount Sinai. And that's why Chabad makes a big thing about the children. They have ice cream and so on. So it's always to get the children. The whole thing is getting children because of that midrash. So.
Fair's an odd question. I think that's.
Say it again, please.
Fair is if you asked if it was fair.
Oh.
And I think that's a modern question. I think that's something that we ask now. I don't think that's something.
I think a better question would be: does it go along with free will? Where's your fear if you?
You mean I have to accept something? Where's my free will come in if I have to accept it?
I've accepted it for
forever.
I guess you then have to reject something. You start with it, and then your free will is whether you reject it or you just.
My free will is right. My free will would be: do I continue on tradition, or do I say I'm not part of this? The strange thing about it, I'm not part of this, and I've said this many times, is no matter how far you remove yourself or try to remove yourself, you always find yourself back or defending the Jewish people. The best example of that is Disraeli, who was according to our records, a non-Jew. Notice his mother was not Jewish. He's a Jew. His father was Jewish. And what happens when they're picking on him, or the Jews, and they're picking on Jews, he comes up with this great quote that is, who knows who really said it, but it's a great quote. And he said, while you are, to the distinguished gentleman, while your ancestors were swinging in the trees, mine was studying Talmud. Okay. Bottom line is, what it's showing us is no matter how far removed you are, there's always something that Pinteliyid, what we call the Pinteliyid, that spark of Judaism, the spark of Yiddishkeit, that comes through for some strange reason. If you look at just our history, and certainly the most recent wave of Balei Tshuva, we should have all intermarried. We should have all been happy with McDonald's and all the great stuff that goes out with that. We should have all been eating our lobster and everything else. And what happens? Suddenly some rabbi at the wall helps you, grabs you, and says, I have to give you a Shabbos meal. Okay, I've had chicken. I've had chicken for my whole life. I don't think any piece of chicken is worth doing what we do. But nonetheless, what they do is they show you the beauty of Judaism, and suddenly we have a movement going. And suddenly you're opening yeshivas, and suddenly people are learning like crazy. So much so that even non-religious people, thanks to ArtScroll, are learning Talmud. And they're proud of it. In Prince Edward Island, that's Canada, 6 Jews lived at that time, 6 families lived on Prince Edward Island. Now, Prince Edward Island was not like we have a little neighborhood here. Prince Edward Island is an island that's gigantic. You have people all over the place. It's like Long Island. It's not a small island. Okay, you take a ferry to get there. No connection to the real world. And now they have a road, I heard. But those 6 Jews, who were all intermarried, they called each other up because they wanted community, and they were learning Gemara together on the telephone. Again, you would think, wait a second, you intermarried, you threw it away, and they, by the way, they also joined the Orthodox synagogue, which was the only synagogue around. Anyway, and so that's how I got to know them. It was just amazing to me. Why would you do that? You moved as far away from Yiddishkeit as you could possibly get. I give them all credit for it, by the way, to learn and to get reconnected Now, I don't know what happened to them in the end. I'm not sure what happened to Pirsad Aaron in the end. But it's just an amazing thing. No matter how far we go, there's something that pulls us back. May it be the negative of anti-Semitism or the desire to just connect with the ineffable. I don't know really don't know what brings people back. We all have our own stories. Each one's individual. But it's an amazing thing. Again, there's nobody so far away. And of course, we even have the stories here where people are 7th-generation non-Jews and realize or want to say that, according to genealogy.com, that they're Jewish. I'm happy for them. Obviously, we can't count them as Jews. Otherwise, I have a big minion here. But it's, you can't do that. But again, to connect, it's an unbelievable thing. And that's all from, you're seeing that all from here. That's all this, that God made it with people who weren't even there. So that's what it is. Now, again, we say this every time, since you weren't here before. I'm pretty sure every single Rosh Hashanah is when we read this, either Netzavim, Vayelech, or Netzavim, and it's all based upon, like I said, I believe it's all based upon the first couple of words here, that you are standing here today before Hashem, your God. Because today is the day that you have to do tshuva. Today is the day where we're re-entering the covenant. And each year, what are we doing at Rosh Hashanah? We're acknowledging once again that Hashem is our King. We're accepting God as our King. So here it would make sense to read this, where it says, I brought you here today in one full assembly to accept Hashem. And even those who aren't with us, our children, you are accepting it on their behalf. And what's going on? Why do we have to do this every single time? Because people sometimes forget. We take it for granted. And so so Moshe is pulling everybody together. And there's one other reason. Why didn't he go to each tribe individually? So the rabbis say the reason he didn't, or I believe it was Rashi also saying this, brings it down, so that nobody can say, if I was there, I would have said so and so. You don't want that, right? You want to have everybody in the same room together. So you have something to say, bring it out. Let me hear it. No objections. Good. Leave me alone. Now you can't say anything. If you weren't there, you could say anything. So that's why we have an assembly.
I think there's one other reason I've heard.
Go ahead.
Who it is?
Many reasons.
But talks about the power of this not being a one-to-one person. If you look at every other revelation in every other religion,
right?
It's, Muhammad. God talked to Muhammad, or God talked to John Smith, or whatever. It's always just one guy.
Louis Farrakhan too.
Exactly.
Louis Farrakhan said God talked to him. I heard it.
Did you hear it recently?
I heard him say it. It's like, whoa.
It's amazing.
Louis,
God talks to all of us. But in terms of a religion, if you want to look for, you can't refute, 2 million people all hearing the same thing and all then, witnessing it and saying, yes, I was there and I witnessed it. And so there's power in the assembly.
Correct. 100%. We're the only religion that I know of that says this. Sorry?
Yossi Mizrahi, he talks about that.
Right. Well, it comes from the Kuzari. Everybody, when I read the Kuzari and I gave a share on it over here, it was so amazing to read it because I saw every one of the Aish arguments. Every single Baal Tshuva movement uses the without saying Kuzaris. They don't give the Kuzari credit, but it's his arguments. It's all his arguments over and over and over again. And the bottom line is, you can't refute his argument. You couldn't, you can't. I mean, one is, how do you know it really happened? Somebody wrote a book, right? But the bottom line is that Jews, regardless of where they were, always had the same story. We never had a different story. Including, they always like to say, the Reform, Conservative, Reconstructionists, Humanistic, and whatever else other Jews are out there, they always have the same Torah. They never changed the Torah. They never changed the Talmud. They never changed Shulchan Aruch. What they did change was the Siddur. That's the only thing they changed.
They keep changing.
Yeah. Minor changes right now, right? But for the most part, that's all they're touching. It's the most amazing thing to me. They'll make a new book about halacha. I'm not going to argue that, but they'll still base it upon Shulchan Aruch, and I'm always amazed by that when I see the Reform movement doing that, because they said they're not married to the halacha. So that's what their original shita, how do you say shita?
Opinion. Ruling.
Ruling. Original position, that's what I was looking for. Original position was they don't care about it. So if you don't care about it, why are you quoting it? Leave me alone. No, but they still write. In their true vote, they still quote it. And it's the most amazing thing to me. And of course, conservative say they do, so fine, that doesn't amaze me. But like I said, they're all doing that. So they're all part of that tradition. And this is no matter how far away you go, you're still there.
If this hadn't been believed, if we even would have had a Talmud, it would have been totally different too.
Correct.
Would have been rejected.
We wouldn't have cared about a Talmud. We wouldn't have gone into it. If this is just a story, it would have gone away, just like Santa Claus, just like everything else goes away. It would have been over.
It's not belief. There's no believing.
I'm trusting.
Knowing.
I'm trusting the tradition that I received from my parents. The same way I trust my tradition that the first president of the United States was George Washington, and that Lincoln freed the slaves, and so on and so forth. And the only one that I know was the president. The only one I know, obviously the first one I know is Nixon. Nixon, I remember. I remember Nixon. And I know he's president. I know Ford, and so on and so forth. From that point on, Kennedy, I have no record of Kennedy. You told me he was president. Okay, I accept it. I have no reason to doubt you. It's none of my business. You tell me that who the Martin something or other is. Martin, what's his name? No, who was a good guy with presidents? Was it? Martin Van Buren. That you tell me he's the president, I don't know his name. You tell me he's the president, I accept it. I don't care. It's part of my history. You tell me that the Pilgrims sat down with the Indians and they had a Thanksgiving meal, which was the biggest lie in history. I accepted it for years. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. A good reason to have turkey. Okay, great. But really, that's what I'm saying. We trusted our parents for that tradition. So something as important as this, we're not going to, why would they lie to us? We can't imagine they lied. About Indians eating with the Pilgrims, they could lie because they want to have turkey. Or whatever the case is going to be.
I think that's why it's dangerous to use the same verb know. I think you knew that because you were taught that, but I think it's a statement of faith to say it's not just that I believe in this, but I know it's true. I've accepted it more than belief.
Again, when you say I know something, that means that you have proof of it. Now, my proof of it, by the way, let's understand that. If I wanted to prove it, I'd say, but I have a Torah. Okay, that's all I need. Really, that's all I need. I have my Torah, and my Torah has never changed. I don't need any more. You can't prove to me, as a matter of fact, that my Torah has changed. With all the research that we've done, with all of the what they found, it's never changed. And writing, I'm going with biblical scholarship here, writing, they claimed, wasn't available in those days. And yet we found manuscripts dated before they said writing appeared, which means they're wrong. Now, what I've always said about biblical scholarship is unless I have a goy, any one of the various varieties of goyim out there to say that it is true, they found something, that means we have no proof. To that I say, leave me alone. I'm not interested. A lack of proof doesn't mean that I'm wrong. A lack of proof means you haven't found anything, and you may never find it. I don't care. I know, this is when I say I know, that the sea is split. I know that Hashem is the Borei Olam, created the world, because it's written down. You don't like my source? That's not my problem. I know it to be a fact. And how do I know it to be a fact? Because I'm here. Show me one other group that is less than 1/4 of 1% and never been more of world population and is still at the top of the news cycle. And we can have an argument. Until then, I know I'm right. I know you're wrong. And you should apologize. That goes back to the morning. But it's just a clear thing. That's why Hirsch says the word Aleph, Mem, Nun, Amen, or Emunah doesn't mean faith. It means trust. I trust my tradition. I trust you. I trust the Gemaras. I may not understand every Gemara clearly. I may miss, and that's why we need Rashi. That's why we need Tosfot. That's why we need the Rosh, and so on and so forth, so they can elucidate what's going on in the text. I may not understand the words as they go, but my tradition, my Rebbeim will explain to me what's happening. And I need that. I need that. And if that ever falls away, then we're in trouble. And Baruch Hashem, we have an unbroken tradition for over 3,000 years. Who else can claim that? And have some sort of a proof of it too. I mean, we had a temple. We have the foundation of it still there. So, that's what I'm saying. I know that to be true, but not based upon anything more than my text. So, if somebody would come to say, that's not a proof, I said to them, okay, so you don't do it, I'll do it. No problem. You do what you want. They'll tell me it's a fairy tale. Okay. I can't convince you. You already decided what it is. So I can't convince you. I won't convince you. Yeah.
Well, I can go for anyone.
Sorry?
I can go for anyone else too. People who believe that the Thanksgiving thing was real. If you try to say, well, look, and they say, nope, I have my writing, and that's what it is.
No, so there I would answer that again. Google it.
Well, no. That's what they say. That's just words. I don't believe that.
Well, where's the tradition coming from, right? That's you have to.
Well,
So
right.
we have to look at tradition.
No, I'm saying.
I hear what you're saying. What I'm saying is, I would say to you, let's look at the facts. Let's look at tradition. Let's look at what really happened. Let's see because here we have plenty of records, right? When it comes to the Roman Empire, we have plenty of records. When it comes to the German Empire of 1920s, we have plenty of records. We don't need to go by any trust there. We have plenty of records that are from all different sides. All we have to do is look at what everybody's saying, and we can come together to make a pretty good portrait. Yes? Right. You would agree with that, right? So when it comes to Thanksgiving, something like Thanksgiving, or when it was inaugurated too, we have facts about that in our book. All I have to do is follow them. Okay? It comes, and I said this morning that there was, again, I don't know when this happened, but apparently a black girl didn't stand up for the national anthem, because she didn't want to, because America's not for blacks. That's what it seemed to be the thing. All right, and so they asked some guy Clarence something, who defended her, and he said, well, if you look to the third paragraph of the national anthem, which nobody sings, it says there will be no refuge for hirelings and slaves. Right? The guy was clearly a racist. Okay, so my wife Googled the national anthem. We find out that that line that he was picking on was referring to, first of all, the whole song is against the British, who were capturing American soldiers and enslaving them.
1812, right? 1812, the War of 1812.
Right, enslaving them. So it had nothing to do with blacks. It had to do with American soldiers, and there was no, and so on and so forth. So, but again, how many people are going to fact check that sort of thing? Sorry? Hillary, right? Okay. But that's the whole thing. We don't fact check anymore. We just take everybody's word for it. So in that sort of a situation, you're not going to prove anything. But if I can show you facts and then, by the way, I would hold this as a fact. Okay? If they're going to show me their books, okay, so, and I'm not hitting any religion. You want to tell me your religion is good? Fine. Doesn't die. Don't kill me of your religion. I don't kill you for me. You kill me. Okay? And whoever's right will win in the end. I have no problem with that, but when you're going to start killing me because you think you're a replacement theology for me, so I say, leave me alone. I don't. Now I have to go out against you. I have to say, okay, let's bring out the proofs. That's all. And then we're not going to win, by the way. That's why we don't do that. That's why we never try to get into disputation on faith. And this is, I trust this to be true. That's all.
On that logic, anybody can be as dogmatic as they want to be.
Yes, they can be. I said that. Yes, they can, 100%. And again, you're not going to win on anybody who's dogmatic.
Right. And everybody else would call us dogmatic, even though...
They probably do.
Right.
They do. And again, you have to know for yourself whether or not you're right or wrong.
Right.
In other words, I can hold 2 + 2 is 4, and you can argue against me. You're in base 1, I'm in base 10.
Right.
You be right, and I be right, but we're not talking on the same channel.
Right.
So yes, I can be dogmatic, and they can see me as dogmatic, and that's fine. Again, you're not going to prove religion. You're not going to prove God. There's no proof of God. There's no proof against God. It's equal. And you know why? It's very important. You know why? Because of free will. If I could prove to you without a shadow of a doubt that God existed, you'd be an idiot to say it doesn't exist, right? If I could prove to you beyond a shadow of a doubt that I'm right and you're wrong, well, again, you'd be an idiot not to listen. Your free will will be taken away. God wants us to have free will. So God allows for this doubt and says either you accept it or you don't. That's up to you. That's really what it is. So that's why people can be misled. And they can think what they want. Now they're going to call me dogmatic. Because I'm tired. Again, I can't allow their insult to ruin my resolve that what I'm doing is correct.
Right. That stands for whoever believes that Thanksgiving might actually be true.
Again, they can do what they want.
Right.
I'm not arguing that. I'm agreeing with you. When it comes to that sort of thing, you're right. That if somebody's going to be dogmatic and not listen to anything, fine. But again, when we're looking at the Torah, my proof is I'm still here 3,000 years later. And we're still doing the same stuff and nothing's ever changed. You can't say that about Thanksgiving. Things have changed tremendously.
Yeah.
Different stories.
Yeah.
So who's right and who's wrong? It's not the same as the Torah. The Torah has never changed. You hear what I'm saying? So if I have something that's never changed, so okay, fine. Now we have to deal with it. Then they can do what they want. But if something kept changing, and dates and everything, and positions. And by the way, where was turkey? Remember, we're saying we eat turkey. They didn't have turkey. They had wild deer. They had. No, they didn't have turkey. Turkey was brought in later. You have to Google it. But turkey was, there you go. Baruch Hashem, we have Siri here. You'll find out, I think they said wild turkey was brought in later. It wasn't a natural thing. I don't know, I'm not sure what it was.
Turkey's from?
I don't know. You're asking different others.
American bird, but it's not local to that.
Within that area, fine. Right, they said they had deer. They said they had venison, the first one.
Pheasant are from China.
Oh, but they said they had venison. If you look in the encyclopedia, it says they had venison. So it's an amazing thing. Again, we thought it was this, but they brought up different things. Like I said, if I'm eating the turkey and I want turkey, and I use that, it's my story, what do I care? I'm having turkey. Okay, but like I said, yes, somebody could be dogmatic, but what I'm saying is our dogmatism is based upon our text never changing. We're in North America.
North America. Oh, look at native too.
They have one in South America. It's like a peacock. It's bright and colorful.
Yeah.
Turkey.
Like I said, if you look up in the encyclopedia, you'll see it. You'll see what I'm saying is true. Because I remember I did a whole paper out one time. That's crazy. Okay. But what we do papers on. Okay. Let's go on with this. So, now the other thing that happens is, when Moshe is saying to them, you're all standing here today, Rashi brings down, I can't find it right now. Oh, right here. Rashi brings down an interesting midrash. It says, because it was said to you, and it was sworn to your fathers that I wouldn't change their seed with another nation. That's why I has to say God will be your God, and therefore he got them to accept this shvuah. And then another thing is, Rashi says in Midrash, why is this parsha of Netzavim connected to or right after the parsha of all the verses, all the curses? We heard 98 curses. So what happened? So I explained. When the Jews heard the 98 curses, besides the 49 curses in Leviticus, their faces turned green. And they said, who can stand like this? All these curses, if we don't listen to one thing, all these curses are going to come upon us. So Moshe says, he starts to appease me, he says, don't worry, you're all standing here today. Even though you've angered Hashem thousands of times, He still didn't take you out. Don't worry, it's good. You can survive. So can you imagine? I'm hearing 98 curses, and so I think game over. God's going to kill me, and so Moshe's coming and saying, like a good intermediary here, don't worry, you got God angry, you did the golden calf, you did the other things, and God still has you hanging around. Why does He have us hanging around? Because of the covenant from Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Because of that covenant that He has with us. And even though He knew that we're going to mess up so many times over, still, He warned us, if you do these things will happen. But of course, as we're going to learn in Parshat Zinu, there's always going to be a few of you left. Because I can't let you disappear.
That's a big according to just normal birth statistics, we should be hundreds of millions, probably.
Yeah. But again, because we sin, so we stay small. And what can you do about that? I mean, you cannot sin. That's what you can do about that. But have a lot of children. But it's just an amazing thing that Moshe was trying to appease us by saying that you made him angry, but don't worry about it. Okay, and then he also says that Netzavim. So Rashi says one more thing, because the Jews were going from one, and this is interesting. You call the leader a parnes, parnasa. Okay, so the leader is called a parnes, the one who supports. Okay, so you're going from one supporter to the next. So from Moshe to Joshua, therefore he had to make them stand there in order to zares, to make them be prudent about this. And that's what also Joshua would do, and also Shmuel, where he would have them there, he would judge them, and he would get them ready for the next leader. That's what he's saying. You're all standing here, I'm going to die at this end of my days. You're going to go to the next leader. I'm not leaving you empty-handed. Don't worry, you're not going to be leaderless. You'll always have somebody to go. It's interesting that when it comes to judges, what's the line we hear? There was no king. They were doing what was right in their own eyes. And why? Because there was no judge at that point. So at one point in history, there's not going to be a judge, and then Hashem will bring them up. Yeah.
But there was no king. Does it mean there was no king?
Leader. That's what we were learning on Thursday, Monday.
In the other stories where it starts out, there was no king in the land of Israel, and the people did what was good in their own eyes. There was no king, but there was a judge.
No, the point is there wasn't a judge yet because it wasn't necessary. So until when the judges only came up, the judges only came up when it was necessary. Because really the king is who? God.
Right.
God's the king. But we didn't recognize Hashem as a king. We weren't doing that sort of thing. We weren't following the normal order. What should have happened was we had a question. You go to the Kohen Gadol, he asks someone for Tumim, so on and so forth. Or he asks the Sanhedrin. He asks the Sanhedrin, and you have the Rav. There's a line of progression here. It's a line of, not progression, what's a hierarchy. That's what, a hierarchy of what you're going to do. That's what you're here today, see? You wondered why you were here, that's why you're here. I'm losing words. What was your question?
Why is judges called judges why they know the Mishpatim if it said there was no king in it? No, because judges do show up, but
it's just saying it's just because it says you're asking on. It's a good question. Let me put that off because I hear the question. Let me push it off. Okay, you remind me after this. So I was going to get lost in a whole side topic. That's a good question. Okay, so let's go on. So now we're on to 15. Because you knew that you lived in how you lived in Mitzrayim, and how you passed in the midst of the nations that you pass through. So Rashi, no, not yet. And then he says, "V'tira et shekutzeihem," and you saw their idols. And again, they're gluleihem. They're another type of word for idols. They were abominations, detestable idols. Eitz ve'even, tree and stone. Kesef zahav Hashem, and the silver and the gold that is with them. And Rashi has a fascinating statement here. He says, when it comes to the Eitz ve'even, the idols of wood and stone, you saw them openly, because the Goyim didn't think that you would steal them. They weren't afraid that you're going to steal the gods of wood and stone, but the silver and gold that was with them, where were they? They were in the inner rooms of their temples. They were afraid that maybe you're going to steal them. Can you imagine? Wait one second. Can you imagine the stupidity? This is my God. This is what I'm praying to, who's going to save me, but he could be stolen. I better hide him away.
Make another one.
Yeah.
That was nothing like the story of Abraham where he said, the big one, he smashed them all.
Right.
Well, it's just a piece of stone. Well, there's the point.
Right.
It's just a piece of stone.
Right. But I say it's just amazing how people don't think what they're doing. They have no concept. They think it's a God. Okay, maybe it's a manifestation, whatever they want to call it. But really, you think you're afraid it's going to be stolen? You don't think God has enough power? And this will come up later in the story of Gidon, where the father's going to say, the father who was an idol worshiper himself, he's going to say to the people when he realizes his son is in trouble, you're fighting the battle of Baal, he can't fight it for himself. Let Baal fight his own battle against my son. You don't have to take care of him, don't worry. If Baal really wants to, he'll kill him. Smart guy. That's a Yiddish cop going at you, okay? He figures that out. But here, these people are hiding. Okay, so he's telling him. By the way, that's the beauty of this pasuk. If you wouldn't know how a verse works, and as Rashi's asking, why does it have to say they saw their disgusting things? That's what she could say. Their disgusting things. Luleim is their mounds of it's a mounds of feces. Eitz ve'even, and then of tree and wood. So of tree and stone, and then that's the end of that, like a comma. Kesef zahav Hashem, and then it says the silver and the gold that's with them. So why the break in the pasuk? Why saying so many things? And that's why Rashi says, that's why the Midrash picks up and says that they were hiding certain ones, they didn't hide the other ones. That's what I'm saying. And most people who read this, they would just say, okay, they're describing different things. But it's so important when you understand how the Meforshim work and why they ask the questions. And then it says, Pen yesh bechem, lest there be amongst you, ish o isha, a man or a woman, o mishpacha, or a family, o shevet, or even a tribe, that turns its heart away from Hashem. To go and to worship the gods of these nations. Lest there be in you a shorish poreh rosh v'la'ana, which is a worm, a root flourishing with gall and wormwood, it says. So Rashi explains, lest it be amongst you a person who turns his heart away. What's he turning his heart away from? The Kabbalah of a Brit. And this is your question. This is your answer, I'm sorry. He may turn his heart away from accepting this covenant. In other words, every single generation, every single year, every single day, we have the choice to accept or not accept this covenant. And when we accept the covenant, it means accepting the whole package deal. It's not like you can say, well, like this, that, seeks a whole deal. Now what happens when I accept the whole deal is, I accept all the punishments and rewards that go with it. If I don't accept the deal, that's my free will, well, I'm still going to be punished. Just understand that. You'll still be punished because it was already accepted for you. But that's your choice. So Shoresh, Porev, Rosh, Lanash, Shoresh, okay, that's not what I wanted. So what's going to happen here? V'haya b'shamo divrei ha'ala hazot. Now, this guy who didn't accept it, he's going to hear the words of the curse. V'parech b'vavolem, when he'll bless himself in his heart, saying, Shalom yeli, there'll be peace to me. Why? Because it's and he says ki b'shiruli bi'elech, because I'm going with the foolishness of my heart. How does they say it? As I walk, as my heart sees fit. Okay, fine. But yeah, so I walk with the heart, because b'shirut. I walk with my heart like it's being straight. Lefan sefot harova et smeh, in order to thereby adding the waters upon the thirsty. So Rashi says that since I'm adding to him these punishments, al masha asad hena b'shogeg, on that which he did by mistake, and vayiti ma'avir aleim gorem atach, then I'm going to join it with that which is. In other words, he says, these people are making mistakes, and I'm doing it on purpose. But you know what? I'll be joined with them. I won't be punished. He fools himself. Okay, because the majority, how many people learn the laws of Shabbos? How many people? I mean, people ask, "Are you Shomer Shabbos?" I can only hope I am. But until I actually open the books and start studying how to make a glass of tea, simple like that. So how do I know I'm Shomer Shabbos? Okay, unless I want to say I slept the whole Shabbos through. I slept from the beginning of Shabbos to the end of Shabbos. I know I didn't break anything. I didn't fulfill the positive mitzvot, but I know I didn't break anything. Okay? So, you can argue that, but most people do something, yeah.
You fulfilled the resting bit.
There you go. So they're resting. Well, I don't know. What is resting? Resting is the 39 malachos, so I didn't... You can do a lot, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah, you want to ask her?
Yeah. So I guess two things. Really.
Yep.
So it says we're all bound by each other. We're all responsible for each other.
Kol Yisrael Rebim Zeh B'Zeh. Everybody's guarantor for the other. Right.
Right. So someone who wants to say I'll be okay because we're all Kol Yisrael, and if I do something bad, it doesn't mean I'll be judged badly because everybody else will be doing their job, or everybody else is doing something bad, and if I do something bad, that's fine because God made a covenant with me, with all of Israel.
Well, you're not doing like that. You're saying God won't judge me singly.
Right.
In other words, I'll be judged with the rest of everybody, so I can do what I want.
Right. So you can that can be used negatively for the whole being responsible for each other can be used negatively in that way, but for
Yeah.
I forgot.
Okay. By the way, when it comes to Kol Shalom Shabbos, it's a double-edged sword.
Right.
Okay, the double-edged sword is like this. Let's say that I'm doing something wrong. Okay? Doing something wrong. So, you have to pay for my crime. Now, Hashem doesn't want, you're a tzaddik. Hashem looks at you and says, I don't want to hurt the tzaddik. So I figure, you know what? I did something wrong. I'm going to jump on your coattails. Because Kol Yisrael Rebim Zeh B'Zeh. We're all guarantors. If you're not, they're not going to be bothered. Because you're covering me up. Fine. On the other hand, if I do something right, you also get credit. Even though you did nothing. So for all the non-religious out there, who I'm related to, I'm a guarantor for them. Okay, I'm a guarantor for everybody, but certainly non-religious too. So they are doing what they're doing, and I'm doing what I'm doing. So I am having to pay for their transgressions, and they're getting credit. Now they also have to pay for their transgressions. I'm not saying they don't, but they also get credit for what I'm doing. So you see, there can be a balancing act. Does it work for me? Doesn't it work for me? So like I always tell people, as Rabbi Fred Neville, I love when people do anything. As Fred Neville, don't sit on my pocket already. Okay, as a rabbi, I love it. You try to do anything. I love the movement. It's great. Keep going. You have to drive to get it. Do it. Mind you, I'm saying this on camera. You have to do it. But as Fred Neville, don't do it on my back. What are you doing? You're driving on my time. You're killing me. I have to pay for you. I'm tired of being the 1%. I don't want to be the 1% anymore. I want that 99% to jump on and be with me. Be as rich as me. All those 99%ers out there, okay? I'm serious. As Fred Neville, I get tired. It's a pain in the neck. I have to pay for all their sins. I don't want to pay for their sins. As Rabbi Fred Neville, when they light Shabbos candles, Baruch Hashem, you've done something. Okay, I've said this to everybody. I'm not ashamed of what I'm saying. But that's what it comes down to. That's Kol Yisrael Arabim Zeh Bizeh. We're all integrally tied together. So we have to encourage each other to do these things. That's why when somebody starts to do it, you give them all the encouragement in the world. And even if you don't, you still love them. Because they're all part of the family. I can't hate my family for what they do, whether they know what they're doing, don't know what they're doing. We're all family. Do you understand? But the guy who's going to fool himself into believing, I'm not, even though I'm doing wrong according to you, name of the Torah, I don't think I'm doing wrong. And to that I say, get off my accounts already. Leave me alone. I'm tired of spending money for you. But that's what it's my capital, in other words, it's spiritual capital. Okay, you understand? Does that answer the question that you were asking, or not anywhere near it?
No, I'm still trying to remember the other one.
Okay. So now let's go on. What time do I have? Okay, I have a few minutes left. So he says, Lo Yoveh Hashem l'shluach, Lo Hashem was not willing or not desirous to forgive him, for this person. Kiyaz Yashan af Hashem kinato be'ishahu. Then Hashem's anger will grow against this person. And v'ravsa b'kol Allah, and all the curses that Ketub of Sefer Zeh are written in this book will come on that guy. Umalcha Hashem et Shemo, and Hashem will wipe out his name from under the heavens. So don't think that even Kol Yisrael, we're all tied together. Don't think he's getting away with murder. I don't, by the way, with everything I said, I pray that all of the people will join me. I really do. I don't want anybody to die because of what they're doing. I'd rather them jump on my side of the wagon and just do what we're supposed to do. So, it's that simple. I pray for them to do tshuva. Now, if they want to join, that's something else. But if they're not going to, Hashem says to them, if you're doing this on purpose, there's a price to pay. Now, the interesting thing also is, I'm going to wipe your name out. It doesn't mean that Hashem has to blot him out. He's going to do it himself. It's a self-statement. Remember, if I get intermarried, if a man gets intermarried, children are not Jewish. You just wiped out your whole line. It's done.
Is this statement assuming that, at least back then, that people have the knowledge, they know what they're supposed to do?
Yeah, here they certainly did. At this point, they certainly did. But again, even those who don't know what they're supposed to do, they're still liable to do it because we're supposed to teach them. So people are supposed to open the books. That's why I say to everybody, pick up a Kitzur Shulchan Aruch in English, the Ganshvit edition or the ArtScroll edition, and you go through it. That's all. You go through it and you see what you're supposed to be doing. And if you think that it's wrong, ask the question. Sometimes sometimes we don't rule like the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. By the way, for those who want, Baruch Hashem for ArtScroll once again, they translated Mishnah Brura.
The what?
The Mishnah Brura.
Right. What did they do with it?
They translated it.
Oh,
you can have a whole translation.
Yeah,
so now you want to learn Mishnah Brura, you can learn Mishnah Brura.
Yeah.
It's all translated. There's nothing that is not available. I mean, I shouldn't say nothing. The majority is available for people to look at, to see what am I doing, what am I not doing. If you want Shabbos, we have 4 books on the 39 Malachot that have, by Ribiyat, that actually have good and real examples for 2016. You can read it and you can say, oh, wow, I should be doing this, I shouldn't be doing this. He gives you, and now again, what he does is he gives you the party line, and in the back, he gives you the Hebrew. So if you really want to know what to do, you have to read the Hebrew, because that tells you all the leniencies and everything else. But he's not going to put that into the book. He just says, in other words, he's not going to put that in English. He puts that into Hebrew. So go to the Rav and talk about it. But everything's there. Again, you have to read it. So really nobody has a reason not to know, not to have an idea of what to do today.
Unless they can't read.
It's on tape. Baruch Hashem for the internet. Everybody like me is giving classes. We're all on the internet. Don't kid yourself.
That's still saying that person.
All you have to do is go internet. Ask Google.
It says if the person wants to do it, he can still resist and say, "No, this is all."
Correct. Somebody can do that, and then again, he's going to blot his name out. Hashem doesn't have to do it. He's going to do it to himself. We'll have to stop here.
Ah.
Okay.